The wise minister. Once there was a king who was very foolish. Luckily, his prime minister was very shrewd and intelligent. So the kingdom thrived and flourished. One day, the king was standing on the balcony of his palace. His minister was by his side. As the king walked, his eyes fell upon the river which was flowing through his kingdom towards the east. The king asked, Mantriji, where does the river go after leaving our kingdom? The minister replied that it flowed into the neighboring kingdom in the east. The king did not like this. He said, Why should our river go into their kingdom? Put up a dam across the river and stop the water from flowing into their kingdom. We want all the water for ourselves. The minister bowed respectfully and said, Sire, it will be very difficult to stop the flow of the river. Moreover, we do not need so much water in our kingdom. The king shouted, What are you saying? Don't I know what is good for my kingdom? If there is more water, there will be more food. Go and carry out my orders. The minister could not argue. He went and gave orders for a barrier to be raised across the river. When the natural course of the water was obstructed, it overflowed its banks and started spreading into the kingdom. All low lying areas were soon submerged. Slowly, the level of the water rose, and the whole capital was in danger of being submerged in water. Terrified people ran helter skelter to escape the danger. The representatives of the people met the minister and held a quick meeting to discuss the gravity of the situation. The minister was in a fix. There was the king who would not listen to reason, and here the people were suffering the consequences of his foolish order. How could he save the kingdom from destruction? An idea struck him. He told the representatives to keep all the people in high buildings where the water would not reach them. He promised that by morning something would be done. Then he called the men who rang the hourly bell at night and secretly gave them such some instructions. Night came. The water was slowly rising. It was 2 o'clock. The men rang the hourly bell. One, two, three, four, five, six. Now the king usually rose at 6 o'clock. He got out of bed and looked out of the window. It was still very dark, and he wondered why the sun has not yet risen. Just then the minister came running. He appeared to be in great agitation. He said, Your Majesty, do you know what has happened? It is already 6 o'clock, but the sun hasn't risen and it is still dark. The king nodded worriedly and said, Yeah, I noticed that. What is the reason? Do you know? The minister wrung his hands helplessly and cried out, Sire, the king of the eastern kingdom came to know that we had stopped the river from going into his kingdom. So he ordered the sun who rises in the east not to come to our kingdom. He has stopped the sun. Hereafter we will have to live in darkness. What shall we do? On hearing this, the king was very perturbed. How could they live without the sun? He thought deeply and said, Mantriji, let us lift the barrier and allow the river to flow into their kingdom. Then they will allow the sun to come to us. The minister was waiting for this. He went happily and did as he had been told. The river flowed freely and the danger to the capital was averted. By the time the barriers were lifted, it was 6 in the morning. The sun rose in the east. The minister came with a smile and told the king, Look, your majesty, the moment we released the river, they released the sun. Now we will have plenty of sun and enough water. The foolish king was pleased and congratulated himself for his uncommon wisdom in allowing the river to flow.